Celtic have identified two managerial targets to replace Martin O'Neill, and we will go over who they are in today's video. Not only that, we will also go over all the latest Celtic news from the last 24 hours.
But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content.
The SFA's key match incidents KMI panel has reignited debate over officiating standards after ruling by a 2-1 majority that Austin Trusty should have been sent off in last weekend's League Cup semi-final against Rangers. The verdict released on Friday stated the majority 2-1 of the panel agreed that the on-field decision was incorrect. Two panel members highlighted VAR was incorrect not to intervene to recommend an OFR, and a red card should have been awarded. The decision came after Trusty himself had addressed the incident calmly and honestly on Friday, making it clear there was no intent in his contact with Rangers goalkeeper Jack Butland. His comments, spoken before the panel met, set the tone for how he has handled the situation with maturity, professionalism, and respect. Trusty explained that he was simply challenging for the ball and apologised immediately when he realised Butland had been caught. His measured response stood in stark contrast to the outrage that followed from some quarters. "Nothing, I was just trying to get the ball, really." The ref called for a yellow, and then VAR checked it, and it was a yellow, and then just get on with it. I haven't really thought too much about it, really. I tapped him, and obviously I didn't boot him in the head. I didn't actually mean, you could see my demeanour and my reaction to tapping him in the head. No, I didn't think he would have said anything. I just obviously apologised. No one means to boot somebody in the head or kick somebody in the head. That's all it was. The KMI panel's majority verdict effectively overrules both the referee's on-field judgment and VAR's non-intervention, but the split decision highlights just how subjective the call was. One panel member supported the referee's initial decision, showing that even among experts there was no clear consensus. Trusty's comments, meanwhile, reinforce what was visible to anyone watching the match. There was no aggression, no intent, and immediate concern for his opponent. He's shown professionalism throughout, choosing not to fuel the debate despite the attention surrounding the incident. For Celtic supporters, the panel's ruling will only deepen frustration at what feels like inconsistent application of VAR in major fixtures. In previous weeks, soft penalties and ignored fouls have gone unpunished, yet here a split panel has chosen to publicly dispute a referee's decision based on a moment of accidental contact. Through it all, Trusty has kept his focus where it belongs, on football. His reaction at the time, his sportsmanship towards Butland, and his comments afterward all show the kind of player he is. While the panel's opinion may divide experts, there's no doubting the defender's integrity or intent. For Celtic, the matter is now closed, but the handling of the incident has once again left questions about how Scottish football's review system is being applied. Trusty's calm and honest conduct, however, has shown exactly what real accountability looks like. Now for the main story as Celtic are still assessing a number of options as they aim to step up plans to replace Brendan Rodgers over the next few weeks. Martin O'Neill stepped in to replace Rodgers on an interim basis while they search for a new permanent boss, although he himself has emerged as one of the leading contenders. The interim boss has had a successful spell so far and oversaw a 4-0 win against Falkirk and a 3-1 win against Rangers, despite the recent 3-1 defeat to Midtjylland. However, the club are still considering a number of alternatives to O'Neill and have set their sights on two high-profile bosses as their top targets, Kieran McKenna and Kjetil Knutsen. Both are seen as long-term options to take over permanently due to their strong managerial reputations at Ipswich Town and Bodo/Glimt, respectively. Pete O'Rourke revealed on Football Insider's Inside Track podcast that McKenna remains Celtic's number one target, though prizing him away from Ipswich would be difficult due to a compensation package of around £5 million. Knutsen is also regarded as a major contender, having achieved great success with Bodo/Glimt, but his availability could depend on timing. O'Rourke added that the upcoming international break gives Celtic time to narrow down their shortlist and make a more deliberate decision on the club's next permanent manager. If O'Neill agrees to continue as interim boss for an extended period, that would buy Celtic more time to complete negotiations with one of their preferred long-term options. McKenna, meanwhile, is reportedly very interested in the Celtic job, with frustration mounting at Ipswich after a difficult season that sees his side sitting mid-table in the Championship. In other news, Chris Sutton has urged Celtic to act decisively and appoint a new permanent manager after Sunday's clash with Kilmarnock, saying he hopes his former boss Martin O'Neill will step aside once the international break begins. O'Neill has provided much needed stability and a lift since returning to the dugout on an interim basis, overseeing a 4-0 win over Falkirk and a League Cup semi-final triumph over Rangers before losing to Midtjylland in the Europa League. Now, Celtic are preparing to face Kilmarnock in the league on Sunday in a 4 p.m. kickoff before heading into the international break. Sutton, who enjoyed a glittering spell under O'Neill during Celtic's dominant early 2000s era, insists the club must now move forward with a long-term plan and fresh ideas. Celtic need to be decisive, and be decisive now. It just needs to be one or the other and fast, Sutton wrote in Record Sport. It can't just float along because there is too much resting on it. There needs to be a clear plan and clear vision of what is going to happen in the next few months. Let me put my cards on the table right now. With my hand on my heart, I hope my old boss finishes up after tomorrow's game against Kilmarnock. Sutton explained his stance, saying that while O'Neill remains a legend for what he achieved during his playing days, it's time for the club to look ahead. He added, Martin O'Neill is a legend at Celtic for what he did during my time there as a player. I owe him plenty for signing me, as I wouldn't have experienced the whole thing or enjoyed such a wonderful time in my career if he hadn't done that. He walked back into the club in the wake of the Brendan Rodgers departure and answered the call with Sean Maloney at his side. Now that's great. It was important to have someone who could unite the club, the fans, and bring a bounce into the players. That was achieved. The wins over Falkirk and against Rangers ensured no damage done domestically in the very short term. The interim manager himself has made it clear that he only plans to be at the club for a short spell and is not looking to return as the official manager. It was a rushed decision when Dermot Desmond called him up a few weeks ago, with Martin O'Neill having 10 minutes to decide whether he was taking the job or not. The 73-year-old is also keen for Celtic to appoint a younger manager with fresher ideas. Hopefully, there will be some movement during the international break. The Green Brigade have issued a strongly worded response after Celtic confirmed on Friday night that the supporters group will be suspended for 6 matches, 3 at home and 3 away, following an incident during the league game against Falkirk. In their statement, the club alleged that a member of matchday staff was assaulted during a routine ticket check, calling the incident violent and unacceptable.
What do you think of what we discussed in today's video? Let us know down in the comments section below. Make sure you've liked this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.